All right, let's check to see if we're live, and then we'll ramp stuff up and get to work. So, hold on here real quick, checking for a signal to see if we are going. Hold on here real quick, checking for a signal to see if we are going. That's loud as Dickens. So sounds like we're okay there. Speed is fine. Do that. I'm gonna drop down my volume a little bit more if I can. Thank you. Grab the link here. I'm gonna bounce on some social media here real fast, and while I do so, I will give you my origin story, tell you what we got going on today. If you're already familiar with the channel and you're catching us in the future, skip ahead like a minute maybe or something like that, and then we'll get into today's fray. But for those that are caught here now in time space with me, or are new to the channel and catching this after the fact, hey guys, my name is Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games, I illustrate them, I publish them online, and I am creating an adventure for the Eberron campaign setting using the rules of Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. It's called Crystals of Mabar. You can see the cover here on screen right now. It's for characters level 7, 8, like 4 or 5 characters. They should have, there should be plenty of mischief and trouble for them to get through the adventure. You're fighting necromancers and undead and demons and stuff in the Carnwood of Carnath on the continent of Cornair. And here's my X-Twitter profile. If you're on the X-Twitter platform, you can follow me at Phil Kearney to get notifications of when I am live, look-sees at the different work that I'm doing, blah, blah, blah. Check that stuff out. And here on YouTube, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications when I'm live in the future. You know how this world works. Here's my stuff. My Discord channel. If you want to support me on Patreon for $1, thank you. If you want to support me by buying some of the books that I have on DMsGuild already. I've been a DM since 1987. I've been an Eberron enthusiast since 2004. And I've been creating content on DMsGuild since 2017. So you can check out the works that I have here on DMsGuild to get a feel for the kind of work that I do. And I do the artwork for it here in the morning. We are at the point, that was the book cover. Here we are looking at a 3-page spread. This is a horizontally aligned document. This 10 by 17 inch space fits on a tablet with a little bit of margin for you to be able to navigate around your tablet without necessarily navigating around the PDF document. So this is designed to fit a single, this is a page, and this is a page, and this is a page. So if you're looking at the full thing, here, let's make this bigger for you guys to take a look. See, here's a 3-page panel, and obviously it sits really easily on a screen. I'm using a 12-point font for the base text, which is the largest font I've ever needed to use in a document. But the extra fun is that I can hold on. Let's remove that. Let's bring that back in here and here. Okay, so here's the current page that we're going to work on, and this space here, that was a little off. Like like that. That's the space. This is the same proportions as this. So when you're vertical on a tablet, or when you're horizontal on a tablet, you can see this full page all at the same time, and most of y'all with good vision can read the entire thing at the horizontal alignment. But if you want to, you can turn it vertically, and if you do turn it vertically, then it fits one of these columns. This is the same space horizontally as this, vertically as this is horizontally. So this works well on phones, it works well on tablets, and for me at least, it works well on desktop. So hopefully you have the same experience, and this grand experiment that I'm conducting doesn't burn me in the ass. But yeah, if you think this stuff is cool, check out what I got going on. And let's see, we're going to do artwork for this stuff today. So we're currently just doodling out and playing around with the type of stuff that we want on the page. Here's the 3 factions that are in the adventure. The Emerald Claw are the necromancers that we're dealing with. Red Wolf Company is the mercenaries, the the decommissioned army company of Red Wolves. That's who these mercenaries are. They're decommissioned. They're all veterans at this point. And then the local villagers. This is for the village peace, which is where the adventure begins. So you've got villagers, you got military, mercenaries, and you have the necromancer cultists. So those are the three major powers or NPCs that you can interact with and influence during the adventure. So I want to fill this space, which probably means I'm just going to go like with an emblem of the Emerald Claw. We'll have a symbol for Red Wolves, and what I don't know is how we want to depict the local villagers. I know that we have a slew of NPC tokens that we've created already that we could fill in here along the gap as just a collection of citizens, and then maybe have something in the background. Like the tokens. Hold on. Actually, let's just go ahead and do as we intend. Let's go fetch. Finished. Crystals in the bar. Art. Tokens. Creatures and characters. Monster tokens. You go off village folk. Duplicate over to the pages. So I discovered that I can't have a resolution if I'm going to have a line grid map. The grid, if it's 100 resolution, it tends to fade out. If the file's If the file's too large, it loses resolution, and the thin lines that I have for the map can get lost in the translation process of moving over from Photoshop into the Word document. That is not good, but I realize that if I lower the resolution on the map, that it'll probably populate onto the Word document. So that was just an interesting thing that I got to discover. Let's bring these things. Let's see if these things make sense. Going to merge and merge and merge and merge and merge and merge. So let's see if we can separate these elements out, make them look good alongside each other. Maybe we can keep some, maybe we should get rid of some, maybe we can bring in the villager tokens. We'll end up coming back and visiting this packet again when save changes. No, yeah, we'll be coming back and visiting these again as we start moving through the village section of the adventure. What do I want to do? I want to open up here and let's go to the hooks. Act 1, environment tokens, handouts, intro. Hook patrons. There we go. And family. There we go. Duplicate that. Good times. All right, close that out. So here are the villagers. Let's merge that one down. Sized right. Feels like the answer is no. This one just, we need to drop this one down just a smidge. Ugh, I regret having so little space dedicated to these characters now. I didn't think about potentially having them combined this way. I just want to take this. She just seems to be a little bit less. That. Let's just grab these and drag these over here out of frame. See how much this clips here and how this just fades out. It was a different. It was intended as a different medium. These are just tokens, while these are always intended as illustration in the book. So I designed them differently, and now I kind of regret that I did. I'll have to just extend the art of these tokens out a little bit further. So. That'll be fine. Here, you're a little bit big, buddy. We're going to drop you down a bit. You know what? That piece actually feels better there. Oh, that's not bad. I kind of like that. And then bring the basket girl in. She needs to be a little bit bigger. And if she is out like this, ooh, that's an idea. I can make her, I think, just a smidge bigger. And drop this down here, and then give her a bit of a tilt. No, can't bring her forward. I just want it just another touch bigger. I like this. I think this is going to work out a-okay. Here, and I want to get this this lumberjack dude. Oops. I want this lumberjack back here because his tunic is a good contrast color for the kid. think I need to drop her down a tit. Ooh, maybe the worried villager might be the best to have in there instead of the lumberjack. Let's try that. And that's just a bunch of chicks. There's too many chicks in the picture. It's starting to look weird. There we go. Yep, that's the appropriate. Yeah, and so we don't need the worried villager. What is going on with you, Magoo? Oh, my mouse went fritzy again. If I use, I have a wireless mouse, and if I use my Wacom tablet as my mouse pad, it causes the apparently I'm guessing the radio signal. No, because the board doesn't send a signal; it just reflects off of it. Maybe there's something about that reflection that causes the mouse to catch, or maybe it's just too smooth. Hell, I don't know. Sandbagger, Slackjaw, and Worried. We can drop those out of view. Take these dudes. I'll maybe like put some forest something in the background. This appears to be the piece I'm going to be able to move most forward with today. So we're going to just stay in this space and work on extending the garb of these characters here so that they can blend in the same way that these characters do. So this is where we're resting today. But you see, we took that time earlier in our earlier production stream to create all these assets, and now we can assemble them into different illustrations that takes up space on the page. And this little family unit here is the same local villagers that we'll see down in the plot hooks when this is the alternate plot, like the default plot hook is you get hired, you get deputized by Fort Bastion to come investigate complaints that villagers are having of people disappearing. It's like, well, yeah, they're refugees, they're sketchy background, who knows who they are. Sometimes people just leave because they feel uncomfortable and they have to move on. But the villagers here insist it ain't like that. Something weird is going on. There's soldiers in the forest, and then people started disappearing after the soldiers arrived. And now there seems to be monsters in the forest, and this is just, it's dangerous and scary, and people are starting to move on. The first families that ran away are the ones that reported it, so it's been going on for like a month at least. And we know from the adventure details that the moon of Sephiroth, the moon that is most connected to the plane of Mabar, it has a 46-day orbit. So every 46 days, it's a new moon. So the ritual lasts a full moon cycle, and so the adventure takes place roughly somewhere between 30 and 46 days. You can roll 2d8.
and add that to 30 for how long the ritual has been going on if you want to randomize it. If you're doing a dramatic end for, like, say, a one-shot, you can have it so this is the 46th day, and when the characters arrive, the Yugoloth starts to hatch, either as an Ultraloth, or if the team's already beat up, then as a Canoloth. If Solzu performing the ritual dies, it's a Canoloth. If Solzu performing the ritual survives till the end of the ritual, it's an Ultraloth, and it's up to the DM to decide what state Solzu's in when the characters find out about him. But only the plot hook that has the 12 be funding the Emerald Claw, do the characters know going in who these people are? Because the 12 is funding them, and they disappeared, so they've gone rogue. So the 12 is like, yeah, we need you to find out what happened to our money. So they teleport you into the Manifest Zone to start investigating, and the goal is to replace the Necromancers with new participants that are more easily maintained. So I'm going to move that out of the way. There. So there's a teleportation circle in the facility to help people move in and out, or move materials or whatever in and out of the facility without necessarily having a geographic signature on the surface. But they disabled the teleportation circle, so the team's mission is to go in and reestablish. They removed the runes from the circle, so it doesn't have an address anymore. So you can't teleport to it. So the team's job is to bring in replacement crystals, rune stones, to drop in replacement rune stones to patch the teleportation circle, so that the 12 can bring in quote-unquote experts to oversee the situation. And it's a wet works team, basically. It's going to show up and threaten to kill the Emerald Claw if they don't participate properly. Which can escalate to violence, regardless of the team's participation. Feels good. And now the Poignant Villager is the only one that we need to extend. That. I'm going to drop the villagers back into place so we can see how this is going to interact. Looks like everything's just going to be just fine. I just want to keep pulling this down and have that fade in. Here, that feels pretty good. in here. I need to clip off that kid's legs because they're getting weird. I didn't really expect this much attention to be paid to this kid's legs. So I'm like, what's going on? There. Just fade that in, just smudge it in.
You know what? Bippity boppity bacon. We're looking pretty good here. Text. Yeah, we can scrap that, that, and that. We could fuse these together, but I'm just gonna drop them into the. I'm gonna just call it folks. Grab that and pull it up and away a bit. Yeah, that feels about right. I'm going to put a masking layer. Mostly to protect the text block here. We create a little space here around it. Then we take a low-end smudge brush. Start working it in. Just lifting away from the text to fade out the artwork around it, so that it has a frame, but it's a subtle fade into the color, so it's not a jarring immediate clip. And if I curve it a little bit, it just feels natural that it's just fading out into, you know, ground mist, symbolic ground mist of mystery. There. I can get rid of those hard edges of the dark line there. Just causes the whole thing to fade in a little bit. There. Like that. I'm going to keep just pushing this up and pulling it forward here, and I can actually put frame in. Oops. Put frame in. Where'd you go? There you are, kid. Like this, and then this fucking goofy kid. Yeah, that's good enough. That resolution is actually pretty good. So I might be able to. I might decide to come through here and work with some cast shadows to blend all these people together. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Like that little strip of white light in there probably isn't appropriate. You know, I want this stuff just to naturally fade out. Just wrap it around here. Let it sort of just fade away.
little nitpicky that I'm doing this, but I mean, it's I just want to make sure it looks good, you know. I really do. Before I get too far, like this, like I really need to figure out the page dressing, or the like the color texture and lighting and stuff on the page itself. So we'll use this as a benchmark for like contrast comparison for what it is, and we'll just start, I think, etching in some texture. We might do that on Saturday. But my week of travel is over, so I get to resume my normal, stable, dull life. God bless it. So I can be consistent online on stream again starting this week. Every quarter there's a few days in the work week that I go downtown for business, and it always just messes around with my streaming schedule. But it's the day job, so it must be served. Give unto Caesar what is Caesar's, as they say. So I go downtown, get the business done. It's fun. I get to connect with a lot of coworkers. Like my weekly D&D game, my stable, casual, personal game is with my coworkers. So I do sincerely love to see them in the flesh, because we're all remote workers, so we never see each other. And so this once a quarter we'll have an opportunity moving forward to have a live session with each other, like at an actual table during lunchtime when we all drift downtown to connect again. It seems like a great opportunity, and I'm amazed that we haven't just attempted to coordinate that in the past. So now that it's on our radar as something to consider, we should have more live time with each other. I mean, one day a quarter isn't big, but we're really consistent on Zoom. Really, really consistent. I'm going to disconnect that. No, I want to leave that specifically like that. That feels good. Feels pretty good. That guy has a hatchet. Maybe that guy doesn't need a hatchet. It does change the balance on the picture a bit. I think it's for the better. Cool. Okay, let's let that sit. Oh yeah, that's me. Now we can consider. Let's consider. Where are we at? 7 o'clock? Holy shit, that's great.
Thank you, Family Timer. Yeah, okay, so as long as I stay within that space, I'm okay. That needs to be trimmed off a bit. Wow, that's a 4x3, 4-inch wide, about 3-inch tall space. That's a nice little pocket for me to be able to work inside of. Oh man, oh, it is good. I feel like my volume is still too loud. Can I bring you down a tick? There. Ah. Let's see. All right, so I think we're gonna do some happy trees in the background here, since the Carnwood is behind, is north of where the forest is at. So let's just start getting Bobbish up in here. We're gonna grab a happy tree. Let's grab hold on. Let's be self-referential. File, open. Let's see if we got some decent foliage laying around. Act 2, Act 3, Act 1. And forest region. So here's the map that we created. Let's go fetch some forest. Dark, lighter. Okay, that's probably enough contrast. Let's pan out for a second. Center tree. Lift off the hood. Hood back on. There you go. Okay, cool. I'm good with this. Equals no. Let's fetch. Let's do that. Let's see what does. How does one pixel look here? Very small. How does 2 pixels look here? Pretty good. Fade that even more. I still feel like it's influencing me inappropriately. There we go. There. Trees are, for the most part, very vertical. Feels good. This is a brush that I created specifically for trees. Here, that's what the brush looks like unto itself. So we're going to scale it down. We'll start here in the middle. I'm just going to dot down the trunk here.
pick a little bit larger size here. I'm just gonna bop bop. Bop. Bop, 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 bop. Then as we go down the trunk, we're going to make the brush size a little bit larger. A few frays stick off, do some evergreenish sort of tree. I'm going to put this one on a separate layer. So I want to do some fluffening. You know what? I'm thinking about it. Why don't we just do some fluffening all along the way and get rid of that. Change of pace. I'm going to do like that. I'm going to go with the, because we have a lot of deciduous trees indicated, although I think there is pine in the carnwood. I'm going to have deciduous at the southern edge, and then it gets pineish as you move further into the forest with higher elevation, because there's mountains in the background. And deciduous is lowland plant, while evergreen is highland, like higher elevation. So if we have pine further back, like way back here, like back here, like this, you know, layering can become good. But for now, we're just building in a silhouette for the tree line behind them. We'll just do a fade, like an Art Deco sort of thing, I guess. I think that's the term. But I'm sculpting right now. I'm tapping in. We could do a color wash, and it's not actually a bad idea that I would. So let me do that. Just gonna take some base green and just drop it here in the background. Drop the green into the silhouette. There, smudge it up. A vignette is a illustration, a picture of some sort that doesn't have a defined edge. It's a little spot illustration that just kind of like this. It fades into the pages, kind of melts into its environment. And I love vignettes. I don't like framed illustrations nearly as much as I enjoy doing vignette work. But tokens, by their nature, are inside of little squares, so they kind of have their own frame. So building tokens with that frame mentality is not wrong, except when you try to extract those tokens into vignette pieces, then you have to work on the frayed extensions. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to bring this in here like that. We're probably going to end up putting a masking layer over this background as well. So I'm just going to manually blend it in best I can right now before we end up coming through and fading it in. I'm going to do this, a lighter opacity, a softer smudge. There. There, like that, like that. Good. Yeah, I'm just taking, like, it's like, what is it, like 20, 30 something percent, and basically just doing crisscross patterns here to have it blend in, just like Bob Ross would do with a sky and clouds. You just work it into the canvas, so you have just this organic gradient that just fades into the environment. I don't know how to do a wet on wet technique for people. Just environment, just forest, not nature, plants is what I'm trying to say. Nature and plants and stuff. But I don't know how to do it with people yet. Like I said, we can take a masking layer and fade this gradient in even more once we establish our border and our page texture and stuff. I'm fine spending a little bit of time smudging this stuff into the canvas. And I'm taking it out to the edge of the page, but it's gonna, again, we're gonna put another masking layer to blend it out inside of that space. So I don't mind pushing so far out into the border. Oh, this is fun. So the red wolves, we can have this greenish backdrop here. We can have the red wolves here with a reddish backdrop, and then we can have a more sickly necrotic green over here. Green, red, green, from unnatural to military into nature. I like that. That'll be a good piece overall. Like individually, these columns are speaking just about, you know, the local village here, but if we pan out and look at the full piece, we'll see the three of these across here. So if I can do a good background color wash from, like I said, that more like a viridescent green into a sharp red into this more faded green, I think that'll look really good. Drop that down. Here, and that's fading in, I think, pretty nicely. Let's just extend this out to the absurd. There. You know, there might be stock art of the Emerald Claw available, which I am not necessarily opposed to using. I could probably just make my own. Which is always a debate. Like, do I need to go find stock art? Do I need to collapse time frames? Is it going to be faster for me to do that, or should I just make this piece myself? And I mean, if I do it myself, it's always going to take many, many hours to do so. But curating stock art isn't as easy a task as people think, unless you're just willing to slap anything out there. Ideally, honestly, I'd like to get back into just doing black and white work. I feel compelled to color anything that I put on the DMsGuild, but if I move out of the DMsGuild and start defining my own brand, I could really get into ink and gray sketch. I kind of like that. I've talked about it before, and I still like the idea. Because I can create sketches really fast, and there's always a lot of energy that the sketches have that it's difficult to preserve with color without being completely just color sketch too. The more you worry about anatomy, the more expression tends to suffer. Like as you work to make the skeletal structure properly portioned and stuff like that, you lose the whimsy and the the exaggeration in form and gesture that expresses emotion or energy or movement. So it's always a struggle for me to be able to preserve that engagement that my sketches have versus like the polished look of color work. Because color just looks more polished. Hey, what's up? Caboose! My DM was saying he was looking at the new 2024 book, not completely sure what he was talking about, but he was thinking of having us re-level up with our classes because of something cool with weapon classes or something in it. But he mentioned he didn't think that artificers are in the book. That is true. Any idea what I should do if he decides to do that? I saw a subclass book in your comments. Oh, yeah, neat. Artificer is already built, ready to go for 2024. Artificer it has a lot of resources available to them. You can run them just as is. They don't exist. Yeah, they don't exist in 2024. Wizards hasn't made any changes to them. Their default statement is, if it doesn't exist in 2024, keep using 2014. And the Artificer is a very, very strong class. So yeah, you don't need to change. Seriously, the Artificer doesn't need any changes at all. It is so legit. No, yeah, you do not. I am perfectly happy dropping a 2014 Artificer, like a 5th or 6th level Artificer, into a team of what's going on with 2024. Yeah, Artificer utility is good. They aren't going to be doing top damage or anything like that. But if you use your you can either use your infusions to buff yourself to be a little bit more combat focused, in which case you feel pretty good. Like I was running a Kobold Battlesmith that ran around, that rode the back of its Steel Defender with a repeating crossbow, and I spent half my time just tossing cantrips at people. We were 5th level. I had my first cantrip upgrade, and for the most part, it was pretty good. So I had no problems there at all. Just throwing down AOE effects, and I was the party's controller. So I would ding people with slow effects off of Ray of Frost and stuff like that, and it felt really good. So healing, I had healing, so I did utility, debuff, and healing for the party. So kind of an off cleric, off wizard controller sort of style, because we had a paladin and we had a ranger and we had a fighter, ranger, paladin, and then me as an artificer. So we didn't have any full casters. So I was very easily able to dump all of my mana into taking care of the team with either buffs, heals, or control effects. I mean, your style will obviously vary from mine, but yeah, I like the Artificer. I've always liked the Artificer. I feel like it's like, as far as power level, just in general, of like utility and usefulness to the party, I think it's second to the Paladin, because the Paladin is just ridiculous. Yeah, okay, right on. That's fun to keep the team. Yeah, absolutely. My lightning gauntlets attacks him up. Nah, your gauntlets are fine. But if this is the first thing you've ever seen with my stuff, like if you don't know my stuff, let's see. Do I have it down in here? No, I don't. Okay, so I'm going to go on a quick tangent here for you real quick, because I don't know if you've seen my martial powers stuff or not. But if we go to one of my live plays from yesterday, the D&D MTG design stream that I do, we're working on monster templates yesterday. But to the point, The Martial Powers playtest content is available on my Patreon, which is here. You don't have to be a Patreon member to access this, but it is a read-only document. This is a martial magic half-casting system, and here's 180 different powers that can use spell level like casting slots or mana as I use it. And if we then tool down through the documents into the characters, you have access to all of this right now if you want it. We can scroll past the fighter, the monk, the rogue revisions, paladin, ranger, and warlock. Get past the warlock. Okay, great. Artificer. So here's the revisions I made for the Artificer with this. Mainly what's probably of interest to you that might be that your DM, like if your DM wants to spruce you up in some way, mana crystals, which is you can create power stones that basically give you back. I use a mana system. I just use spell points. Now 1-to-1 ratio. I gain 1 to 20 on a short rest. But you can still use just a normal spell slot system. So it would be you gain mana crystal infusions without counting against the total number of infusions that you can learn. So you automatically get this at level 2 as a free infusion. And what it does is it lets you coalesce. You can concentrate energy into a crystal that you can then destroy. Here you go. You can draw ambient magic from the environment, condensing it into a small crystal. The crystal contains a number of mana equal to 1 plus the max level that you can prepare as an artificer, so anywhere from 2 to 6 levels per stone. And as a magic action, a creature can expand all or a portion of mana in the crystal to restore the same amount of mana in your pool, which you can just translate into restoring spell slots. Like if your DM feels during the game if your character is falling behind, you can do that. We also have infused weapons, which is you can take any weapon and you can infuse any type of weapon mastery that exists in the player's handbook. You can make that a property in your weapon as an infusion. I also have like light finesse weapons, so it becomes a one-handed weapon, or a heavy and reach, or like a smaller weapon can become heavy and reach, requiring 2 hands. So stuff in there. Hey, Ro, how you doing? Yeah, I sent it to my DM as well. He thought it was really cool. I was here when you were doing Magic the Gathering stuff the other. Oh yeah, right on. Thank you. I lose track of stuff. But yeah. There's that anyway. Out of the box as written. Yeah, Artificer is totally kick ass. Rel, it's good to see you, my guy. What time is it? 7:30. Okay. I'm in my. I've got about 10 minutes left to stream today. I gotta hit the ground running at my day job. So, but I'm gonna be back on at 2 o'clock Seattle time. It's 7:30 now, so I'll be back in about what is that? 6.5 hours. And we're going to continue with the monster templates for the martial power system. So we're in the soldiers right now, and once we get to solo monsters, that's when we stop. Soldier will be the last template that we have, just generic, and then from there we go into individual monsters. Like what's a unique kit that would be cool for this monster? Blah. There you go. But there's literally no end to the amount of creature templates that I can build with the powers that we have. But once we finish that, what is this, Friday? Yeah, so tomorrow I'll be on stream at on my Saturday brunch from 9 a.m. till noon Seattle time, maybe 9:30. I'm not sure exactly. By 9:30, I'm kicking. If I can get up and running by 9 o'clock straight, I will. But sometimes there's home stuff that's going on that prevents me from being able to fire up right away. But So we'll finish the soldier template and start looking at solo monsters or unique templates per creature today, and then tomorrow, I think I'm having thoughts. Hold on. There we go. Back at it. We're almost to the point where we can be building out the mega dungeon that we're going to use for our playtest environment. Almost at that point. I think what I do want to do is I am really tempted to start doing some oops all warlock work. Shit, I totally did that wrong. I was on the wrong layer. Yeah, take that all back. Take it back. I can go back about 100 steps of undo before I run out of steam and I get stuck with whatever's there. So I think I'm going to end up with a little pinch left. Oh, amazing. All right, now let's put it back in the correct layer and get back at it. So we know that when we start working on the color mana core mechanics revisions with the 2024, we're going to have to spend time with every single class to see what we need to update and alter for things to remain compliant with the mana system that we have. And in that process, it's going to have us rebuild the scaffold for the classes of where we need to make changes. We'll add those features into the book, and if there's no changes, we can just make mention. Yeah, these it's on the character scaffold, but I don't make a comment about it, so it remains unchanged. So we need to have that scaffolding to establish what is and isn't still existing in the game. And during that process, we could just go oops all warlocks and make short rest, put the short rest template onto them, and then maybe for lack of a better thing to do, just allow those classes to be included in the playtest. It would dilute attention away from the power system, but having them play with other classes isn't a bad idea. The last playtest that we did, it was nothing but the martial power option characters, but I could potentially open it up to all 13 classes if I warlock all of them. I really like all the characters being on short rest resources for their mana pool. I think it's better. I just think it's better game design, especially for something like dungeon crawling, where everyone being on the same resource system helps because it encourages people wanting to take short rests together. It's certainly easier for me as a DM to pace your resources if everyone is regaining them at the same clip. Well, I can put pines back there, so I can put some taller. Just want to drop this in here like that. What's up? Do you keep in touch with your family, like talking on the phone and such? Oh, thanks for asking. I found the spell slots availability has been lacking, but yeah, they would seem to help. I've been streaming so early on. I found the spell slots availability has been lacking. What does that mean? Spell slots lacking? Of course I don't talk to my family a lot. Like I'm not. I spent a lot of time alone as a kid, so I'm really comfortable being in my own space and not touching base with my family. for extended periods of time, but I try to make sure. I'd like to call them every week, but I don't, to be quite honest. It's a good baseline, I think. You're not even close to baseline. What the hell? I'll just bleed in. Yeah, and I'm just about at the place where I can start fading this stuff. Drop the opacity a touch like that. I think I need to darken around in here. I don't know if I necessarily like that or not. Let's take that block. Let's really just drop it into the background here. I'm kind of liking that. There. I think I do like this. Up the opacity or the strength of the smudge to push in a little bit further faster. I like that. God, that feels good. There we go. Push that up behind them. Oh, that looks fantastic. I love that. I love this. There. And then I can get the smudge on this foliage to match the fade and the color gradient in the background. I can have a smooth transition of texture from the smooth gradient into a choppier there, something like that. Too much. Not enough. There we go. That feels good. All right, turn you off. All right, I'm going to be back in about, it's 7:40 now, so I'll be back in 140, so that would be 6 hours from now. Yeah. So I will plan on being back on at 1:40 Seattle time, PST, which is going to be, 4:40 East Coast, East Coast USA? Yeah. 6 hours from now, regardless. So I'm gonna stop here for now. I think when we come back, I've got a little bit of like some pines I want sticking up out of this foliage here, but I like how this is sitting. But when we come back tomorrow, tomorrow's Saturday, we'll probably be working on spellcasting character classes for the color mana system for core mechanics. Prep for that, and then looking at how they would sit as short rest resource casters, so that we could have them run alongside martial characters in the martial powers playtest. So it would be a good idea to see, because I was running them alongside a druid before at the higher levels, but we haven't really done any of that here at the lower levels, and I've liked how the classes have been sitting 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th level. So we're just running the campaign. We're just restarting the playtesting at 3rd level, just to see how the 2024 revisions are impacting the game. So we integrated all that stuff. We're going to relaunch. So I don't see any reason for us not to incorporate the rest of have all 13 classes available. So we'll do that. That's what I think we'll do. Okay, cool. So we'll have this piece here. We're going to have the Red Wolf badge here. They're basically like their company patch with a reddish background that's going to wash into here. And then we have the Emerald Claw, which will have its emblem, and then maybe like a Blood of Vol, like reddish, like maybe a sickly green here bleeding into a blood red, into the reddish leather of the Red Wolf Company, fading into the gray backwash, green backwash of the backdrop, green washed out backdrop of forest here for the village. There. And so on Monday, when we start working on this again, we're going to build out texture and start working on the frame for the page, so that like as I'm doing this, I need to understand how the background texture color is going to affect this. So I'm getting ahead of myself, building this off of an assumed white background, but it is not going to be a white background. It is going to be some sort of color fade, hatch, scratchy parchment look to it. I just haven't built it yet, so we need to do that before I get ahead of myself too far. So, but hey, this is where we're at right now. I'll probably reference the book cover for some of the color references off of that to be able to flow through. But this is how I imagine the book. Sans background texture, but like this column is one horizontal panel. When you hold your phone or your tablet up horizontally, vertically, this is what you would see on that page. You've got a picture of the local village and a quick little bite of information about the village. If you're still holding it vertically, then you have this bite-sized piece of information about the Red Wolf Company and their badge emblem. And here's a bite-sized piece of information about the Emerald Claw, and we'll have the cult symbol here. And then we'll move on to the next page, and we'll fill in map. Like this will be a regional map showing Fort Bastion, Ader Academy, the forest line, the mountains, where the village is at, the manifest zone. All that stuff is going to be dropped into here. I will have a structural map, like flow through the adventure sort of map, as a template there. Page 6 here, we're looking at short and long rests, so I can have a campsite picture here. And then here we're looking at visibility icons to show different levels of light, bright light, obscure, heavily obscured areas. Over here we've got difficult terrain. These are different tokens symbols that we're adding to the adventure. So like if there's difficult terrain in this particular map area, then we'll have a difficult terrain token here, so we'll build those out. So like when you look at a glance at an area, you can see the different icons of different things that are hazards and effects in the area. And then we have the official starting the adventure. We'll have the sheriff and the village and the villagers and different stuff to see. So we'll just fill this out with like villager stuff as the starting the adventure. Your initial plot hook getting into the adventure. So we'll introduce you to that stuff. And then we'll take it to the back end. That's the first 7 pages. So then we'll go to the back end and use this starting the adventure as a base starting template for us to build out the alternate adventure plot hooks in Appendix 3, and then fill in as we go in from there. So we're moving forward. I'm off screen in the evenings. I'm working on the page layouts for part 1, 2, and 3 of the actual adventure content. And so by the time we get done doing all the illustrations for the first 7 pages and the back 20 pages, all of that part 1, 2, and 3 in the middle, that should all be done for us to then just drop in and continue with. So, but yeah, this is our art. This is what we're building here. So hopefully it turns out looking really cool in the end, and it's fun to look at. So that's it for now, guys. I'm out of here. And I will see you guys. So hopefully I see all you guys in 6 hours, whatever. But I do when I get to. So see you then. Cheers.